try to cover something that I think is useful or on par with what's being talked about in the community. But particularly, I think what would be really important is to talk about this particular enemy. Have you ever been in an infested survival or an infested mission and just randomly died? Even though they're shield gating, you have quick thinking, you got 10,000 health with Inaros, so on and so forth. Have you ever been in that circumstance and just got one shot and don't know why? Well, if you don't know about this guy is called the Ancient Disruptor. And what I'm going to do, and I apologize, I usually have the wiki up for this immediately, but in this case, I don't know why it's not up. But this is the enemy that gives you the one shot, right? Hey, what's going on? How you doing, Snowy? So let's go ahead and talk about this guy. I guess let me just cover the codex, and then I'll read off what's going on in the wiki for this guy. This is just to familiarize you guys with it. So as you guys can see, it's an Ancient Disruptor. It is weak against corrosive. You're not going to want to try and kill it with radiation. It says it has 400 health, but believe it or not, if you think about it, when it comes to scaled health, right, effective health, a level 175 has effectively 51,000 health. But if you have a weapon that can hit for 200,000 health, it really doesn't matter, right? So that's that. If you need to get Cleveland Whirlwind, he does drop that. If you need Adhesive Blast, he does drop that, so on and so forth. So you guys see the codex entry. But let's go ahead and get into this enemy. Now, I'm just going to read it and then I'll explain what I'm talking about. Or what it's talking about. So he's an infested heavy melee unit. The Ancient Disruptor stands out for the ability to drain away a Warframe's energy. Not only does the Ancient Disruptor possess an aura that allows its nearby allies to drain Warframe enemy with each attack, their own melee attacks have a 10% chance of dealing magnetic procs on players, draining the player's Warframe energy over the duration of the proc and temporarily reducing shields. They're light blue and green in color, with the bright red tentacles, where one would presume a mouth is. Keep an eye out for the distinctive glow. Now, here's the part where, and I've gotten in discussions with people on this, and they denied it and told me I was wrong and this, that, and the third. But this is what I really want you guys to understand at this part. So under behaviors on the wiki, it says it casts an aura on itself and allies. They will be surrounded by purple with 3 effects. It's going to be the number 2, but I'm going to do 1, 2, and 3. So number 1, it reduces damage received from Warframe powers by 90% and radio attacks. This doesn't stack with multiple Ancient Disruptors auras. Here's the part that everyone needs to understand though. On hitting a Warframe, it drains energy proportional to the damage dealt, and this is separate from the magnetic status proc. So what that means is if you have a Inaros with 9,000 health and you have 150 energy and you have quick thinking, it's going to first drain your energy and it's going to hit you with a way too strong attack, number 1. So let's look at a decent frame, right? Let's take a decent, just a decent frame. So I don't know, Valkyr, whatever, right? So we got Valkyr, she's got her 700 armor, she's got her health or whatever your build looks like, right? So what this is gonna do, I'm trying to see if I got a different one. Yeah, sure, let's do that one. So you got your 700 armor, you got your energy and all that, right? What it's gonna do is it's gonna hit you for, let's say, 2,000, right? You'll have, I don't know, adaptation going, so it only hits you for 200. What that's going to do is going to immediately deduct 200 from your health. And then if that doesn't do anything, at that point it's going to hit you with a magnetic proc. Now that proc does go up as, as the level scales, right? But that's why when you are sitting there and you just randomly die, even though you might have quick thinking on, right? You might have this on, you might have prime flow, and it's got the 240% efficiency, and it's like, why is it not working? Well, because it hit you for 9,000, but adaptation is not going to block the 9,000 from your energy, okay? So it hits you, it takes away 9,000. If you, for whatever reason, still have energy left, that magnetic proc is going to remove the rest of it, and it's going to get rid of your shields. Now, how's it hitting you with shield gating? Well, it's kind of the way that the magnetic is stacking. It could happen before or after. It doesn't really say in the wiki. I'll finish reading it, you know, but it doesn't really say whether it happens before or after. My assumption is that it happens before. That's my assumption, because if you get hit with a magnetic proc, and I'll have to do a whole nother video on this one, the way that the Warframes are responding, or every Warframe in my case, the way that my Warframes seem to have been responding is that I get hit with the magnetic proc first, and the proc is what removes my shield, and it is then that shield gating doesn't occur, and then it goes for the one hit, and now you're dead regardless of shield gating. That's what seems to be the issue, at least in my case, right? So let's go to number 3. I just want to cover that, and then I'll pull them up and I'll show you what I mean in the simulacrum. Number 3, it reduces the duration of crowd control effects of certain incoming abilities by 75%. In this case, multiple ancient disruptor auras stack multiplicatively. What this means is if you're doing something like a Vauban Bastille, and it's supposed to last for 100 seconds, just for example, it'll only last for 25 seconds. And if there's multiples out, then it's going to reduce it multiplicatively. So it'll be 75% of 25, and then another 75% of whatever 25% of that is. They will occasionally deploy grappling hooks to reel in players into melee range, identical to that being used by scorpions. This is basically their get over here kind of attack. This will immobilize you unless you have something like Prime Sure-Footed, or you have something like or Sure-Footed. You know, it's got a 60% chance for Sure-Footed, or you got Handspring. If you have Handspring, then it'll hit you, you'll kind of trip up, but then you'll immediately just get back up. They can also apply the magnetic proc with attacks done by their long right arm, disrupting the player's HUD while draining energy. For this demonstration of this enemy, I'm going to, let me not mess with my Loki setup. Give me one sec, guys. Let's go back down to here. And then I'm going to show you guys some things I found that that I haven't really seen said in the wiki, but it's just some stuff that I found. I'll show you Zephyr in a minute. But I'm going to show you Gnarls first. And it's only going to be a 150. I'd say around 250 is when it starts to get kind of questionable. That's where, regardless of how much health and defense you have, it starts to kind of like, you might want to be careful. But let's go ahead and pull up I want to pull up a regular one, and we're going to get hit by this thing. Come on. And there's a Juggernaut out there. And I got rid of the wrong one. Sorry about that, guys. I got the Opticore Vandal. Nice. The front of his legs be looking like a Jack the Zipper. That's funny. Boop. Alright, so you saw all that energy was gone, right? This is a 150, by the way. So I had 9,130 health, and he hit me for 1,900 health. And you saw my energy disappeared off that one slap, right? Okay, so he's hitting me with his little tentacle thing. There goes his magnetic proc. Alright, so that's just a 150. Now let's do this with a stronger, or a less stronger Warframe, I guess. Let's do it with Mesa. We're gonna fill up on our energy. Notice I didn't get hit by the magnetic proc when it had drained my energy the first time. It just hit me. Bop. All right, we got a shield gate on that. Bop. Got slapped again. Got a shield gate on that. All right, cool. So I think okay, so here's how I deal with those situations. Let me just jump into that. So the way I like to deal with it is you can run Inaros. If your goal is 1 hour, you are perfectly fine. You are more than fine. If your goal is an hour and a half, right around the last 10 minutes, you might have to be a little bit more careful. If your goal is anywhere beyond that, you are going to die. unless you're rolling and flipping and got team synergy and some. But solo, no, you're going to die. You can hit rolling guard, you can hit everything you want. You can hit Vazarin as many times as you want. The minute you get caught slipping, it only takes two of them to maybe two-shot you after about 2 hours, right? But this one I wanted to point out to you guys, and this is Zephyr. And if you run a Zephyr, the interesting thing about Zephyr is that as long as you are in a respectable distance, it actually cannot hit you with this little get over here thing. If it decides to throw it. Boop, nope. Meaning that you can just kill it, right? So if you run Zephyr in her third, it actually will not work, like, at all. I think it works close range, but even still, I wouldn't chance it because it only has to tap Zephyr like once or twice. And if it hits you once and it happens to drain your energy, then whatever duration you have on your third that's all you got, right? Of course, you can use Rhino, as we all know. You could definitely use him. He's definitely a good pick for this. Just be mindful that this thing will eat through a lot of his iron skin when you start getting up into those higher levels. Another little side note is this kind of only applies to, like, if you're doing hours worth. There's 2,000. He's not even hitting me anymore. There we go. Another 2,000. Another 2,000. Another 2,000. Boom. All right. Took that away. And now he's dead. So Rhino will work. Just be mindful. As I'm showing you this, just be mindful. There's never. It'll come a point where there's never just one. It'll come a point where there's like 3 or 4. Trying to think if there's. Oh, so let me show you So this is what I do. I just run invisible frames, like Loki or Ash. One thing to note about these guys, I might have to do a separate video on this, but one thing to note about these guys is, and I had to teach some people last night about this, is enemies, regardless of what they are, it will not attack. The thing is, they don't attack if there's nothing to attack. So the way I like to kind of teach my guys is, you don't look at it as though you're invisible so they just can't see you. Look at it as though you're literally disabling their attack, right? So if I pull out a bunch of disruptors, right? And as long as I'm visible, they're gonna attack, right? Oh, okay. Right, but the minute I go, oh shit. Let me go get some energy real quick. But the minute I go invisible, their attacks effectively are turned off. I can stand next to them. If I could jump on them, I could jump on them. I could switch teleport them. It doesn't matter. Like, none of that matters. The only thing I would say you want to be careful of is throwing your decoy out there. Because if you throw your decoy out there, now all of a sudden a bunch of slings are going to start going off. And and if you're in the line of fire, they could potentially hit you. And they can see you. Kind of, sort of. So you want to be careful doing your decoy. But going invisible is probably going to be your best bet. Outside of that, using any invincible frames, like the invincible meta builds and things like that, none of those will work. So if someone, forget the someone part, I'm just going to tell you guys. So let's say you're running I call it the Infinity Gauntlet Nyx, right? Because you still need power to do it. But let's say you're running an Infinity Nyx or whatever name it has. It's basically this build, right? Which sucks, but you can't die. Boop! It'll drain all your energy and it turns off. So she's useless. Valkyr is useless. Like, none of those frames will actually. They'll survive, but as soon as their energy is drained, it's a wrap. Same thing for, like I said, same thing for Valkyr. So you got this on, you're ready to go chop them up. And let's say you're in arbitrations. I'm just setting up a scenario for you guys. You're in arbitrations, so you can't really hit them, but they touch you, your energy disappears, now you're dead, right? So you gotta work smarter, not harder. So you can have the most beast mode, Goku, Super Saiyan level, whatever, but as soon as it touches your foot or your toenail, it drains all your energy. Now you're back to just being that whatever Warframe, right? So If you've ever been so rule of thumb, if you've ever been one shot, Wukong will survive. You have three times though. So if you survive one, that's cool. You survive two, that's cool. But he still is not just gonna survive. Because there's no level of armor or resistance that's just gonna outright help you like that. Right? So we all know his second ability, right? Gives you armor. Right? So we're gonna do that. Then I'm gonna get hit. And it'll stay on. Right? All that's cool. And I'll get my armor and everything's cool. Boom. Right? But I lost all my energy and I'm fighting and there's a bunch of infested, and the thing is when he dies, he only loses like the life. Right? And you can continue fighting. So Wukong's really good, but you're still your time is still finite. You know what I mean? So as long as you are able to manage your lives, then you should be fine. I'll give you a scenario of what I'm talking about. So I ran a 90-minute survival yesterday. Actually, I ran two of them. I ran two of them yesterday. One of them was Wukong, and lo and behold, Wukong almost died. He almost died a few times, and that's because he was down to his last life. So if you're gonna approach those situations, once again, I recommend working smarter, not harder. Nidus is good, but you have to maintain your stacks. And that's fine and dandy, but once again, you have to maintain your stacks. If you do not maintain your stacks, you're done. Also, and that's a good shout out, Snowy. I ran I ran a bunch of infested survivals because me and Lost were testing them like super heavy, right? Nidus works, but they get so strong after about 80 minutes, somewhere around there. They get so strong that they one-shot Nidus, and when you one-shot Nidus, you lose 15 stacks. So you have to get 15 stacks back in a matter of seconds in order to defend against these guys. This is basically, and take it how you want, but these are the enemies that keep all your favorite Warframe YouTubers from streaming infested survivals. This is why all their 10-hour runs and million-hour runs, they're always against Grenier or Corpus. They're never against Infested because of that guy. You'll never see. I am a full believer. And I think the only person who can do one of those survivals is Relentless Zen. It's the only person I think who can actually do it. But I never, ever see super crazy survivals against Infested because of this guy. Right, so Nidus works. Once again, I want to highlight he does work, but unless you have a 10 stack, they're gonna burn through Nidus. Unless there's like a bug in here or something. Yeah, it's gotta be a bug or something. Yeah, that's gotta be a bug. Yeah, because he would have been dead. Jesus Christ. Jesus. Okay, y'all can chill. Alright. So there's Nidus. Nidus can't die in the sim. Hilarious. Yeah, he could die out in that real world. Well, not real world, but you know what I mean. But yeah, Octavia. I think there's really. I mean, I've tried everything. I've tried everything against these guys. If there's anything that you guys have as far as ideas, be sure to shoot them my way. One thing I wanted to note, and I think I've said this on a couple different streams, is that Hildren is very interesting in regards to this particular enemy. And maybe a Hildren and a Mag might be like your Warframe power type of answer. Here's why. I'm not sure if anybody knows this, but Hildren is actually immune to magnetic procs. They do absolutely nothing to her because hitting Hildren with a magnetic proc kind of defeats the purpose of Hildren, right? So it'll hit you hard, but if it hits you with a magnetic proc, the proc actually does nothing to you. Oh my god, I can't believe I have to wait for this. Okay, let's do this. Boop, okay. Hit me with a magnetic proc. Magnetic. Okay, let's do this. I'm gonna pull up a different enemy that's gonna do a magnetic proc just to show you guys. I'm just showing you guys what I found so far. And what I found is Hildren is basically immune to magnetic proc, so she's good, but she can't take the hit. You have to be able to eat that hit too. So, whoop. It do not matter. It do not matter, right? So Hildren, you could definitely use her, but as you saw, she kind of can't eat that hit the way you need to like really eat the hit. CC, you know, as we all know, CC works. Gauss. Okay, here's the thing about Gauss. So Gauss works. You got to make sure you have your energy. You have to make sure you have energy after your 4 runs out. So he works. Grindel does not work. Frost does not. The Frost Bubble works, yes, but it's the Frost Bubble. Gar's works, doesn't have as much health as Frost, so I wouldn't recommend that. Equinox does not work. Baruch does not work. Well, it works, but it like doesn't at the same time. Ember does not work. Banshee does not work. Atlas does not work. Ash obviously works because he's invisible. Chroma works, but you are gonna have a hard time. Inaros is probably the best defense against it. Limbo surprisingly works, but you still have to deal with the whatchamacallits. You still have to deal with the, you know what I'm talking about. Revenant with Mesmer Skin. Revenant works against them with Mesmer Skin, but if I'm not mistaken, you won't have any energy to recast it. So after your 6 stack, you're kind of done. So if I did a Revenant, right, and then I hit Mesmer Skin, or 9, or let's say you had 20, whatever. So you come out. Oh, that's Scrambus. Boop, 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 boop. Obviously, there won't be 20. Let's say 4. 4 is like the maybe 4 disruptors, Eximus. Yeah, so Mesmer Skin will work. But I believe if they, oh, that's nice. But I believe if they proc magnetic on you through the Mesmer Skin, then, which I doubt they can. I don't even think they can. So as long as you can shoot. So I guess as long as you can keep that up, you should be straight. Booyah! Shout to Snowy on that one. Yeah. Yeah. All right, so Mesmer Skin works. That's a solid one right there. Gonna take a little bit of effort, so definitely get your practice on with the Mesmer Skin, and you know, take it to a map and try it out. I can't really tell you exactly how I think it's gonna work, because I mean, me personally, I don't use Revenant, and when I do use Revenant, I use Natural Talent. I mean, obviously, I don't use them, right? But like I said, when I do use them, I use Natural Talent. And then I probably scale this Mesmer Skin up. But I just need that to cast faster. I can't have that casting that slow. Like, nah. Rolling Guard is cool. I would probably treat that more like Zephyr situation. I don't know. You guys play Revenant more than I do. But as we've just found, thanks to Snowy, that definitely does work. Trinity will work, but Trinity is kind of terrible. She's not going to be as good as Revenant, obviously. She's not going to be anywhere near as good as Revenant. And this is because you can drain her energy, right? So Trinity is the one I used to use all the time. But I used to use Trinity because I can just create an energy well out of one of them. So I never lose my energy. Plus I got Link, right? Doop, 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 doop. I probably should have created a well first. Yeah. Unless you feel like hitting a bunch of buttons, don't use Trinity. I love Trinity, but do not use her. Not for disruptors. Not if you're going in there for disruptors. I guess let's talk about the CC situation real quick. So we got Boban, we got a standard run-of-the-mill Hydron build, but let's actually do a bigger one, I guess. Let's see. What's the duration on this? So 15 seconds, cool. 14.25, that works. All right, cool. And boom, actually let's do 20. Let's keep it at 4. Keep it realistic. That was an accident. Yeah, they dropped way before. Yeah, you can't even pick them up with the CC. Alright, so what about Vortex? Because Vortex effectively disables them, right? So let's see what happens. Nope. Hey. Well, Vortex is not working. I think that pretty much covers it for the most part. I think the next, I do want to do like an enemy series though. I mean on dual, what you got on your melee? What do you mean what I got on my melee? You talking about these? These are just the dual cares. And I don't think I'm going to be hiding weapons behind names anymore because you can't really stop it. But if you want to know the build, actually asked me yesterday, what are you running? Like, dude, I'm running this mod. You could put this here, right? But I run this mod. And yeah. I mean, I got a good ribbon. Don't get me wrong. It's good. It's a critical damage ribbon. But why would you run this when you can run this? Well, I like this. So yeah, it's just a dual cares. It's not super special. You could run a Graham and a Glaive and a dual Ichor and a Dakra and a Pangolin. You can run that. It doesn't matter. They're really easy to kill. They're not hard to kill. You know what I mean? Like for what they are, they're really not hard to kill. Right? They can be level 9,000 and they really don't. I mean, they might take like 100,000 to kill or something like that. I forgot exactly what it is. I think it's like 200,000 or 300,000 to kill them, but they're not hard to kill at all. I got a really weak build on the ceramic dagger. So for high level infested, you just run viral. You don't really need god tier weapons to kill infested. You know, if that's what you're alluding to. I'm not sure if that's what it was. So you got a decent ribbon. You sure hit them all? Well, that's the thing. You don't need a ribbon. That's exactly why I was mentioning what I was just saying. I don't even have a ribbon on this. I don't have Prime Fever Strike, and I'm running Viral Heat. Like, this is the build on a ceramic dagger. Like, you don't need all that to kill a high level infested. You really don't. That's fluff. You know, that's fluff for clicks or whatever. You guys know how. You guys know my stance on that. Anyway, that's the Ancient Disruptor. If you guys have any questions about the Ancient Disruptor or any ideas, you know, huge shout outs to Snowy on that Mesmer skin thing. I want to know for my Mesmer players out there how you guys are doing, and if you guys are running extended survivals against infested, how is the Mesmer skin doing? Because of course we're all going to be dealing with a lot more than just the Disruptor, but I want to know from you guys, how is it working out? Are you guys able to go like true endless runs, or is there like a cap, or are you noticing like, okay, if you this might be better or this might not, or you know, what kind of things are you guys doing? Trust me, I'm not gonna do a video on it. I'm gonna leave that to you guys to shoot the Warframe vids, because I'm not a professional at Revenant. But by the way, what primary would you suggest for shredding armor? For shredding armor, I'm just gonna cover this real quick and then I'll end the stream. But for shredding, for really, here's the thing. So I wouldn't say you shred armor with a primary. The way I would recommend looking at it, instead of thinking what's going to shred the armor, think of, first off, what weapon do you like? And then once you find the weapon you like, can that weapon bypass armor? Right? So if you like let's say you got the synapse, right? The synapse is native corrosive, so it shreds armor, right? So it must shred armor. It has to shred armor. It's native corrosive. Well, it doesn't, right? And that's because it has a 13% status. So on this one, you're probably not gonna want to run viral unless you're running 100 munitions. I'm just using this one as an example, right? So we got viral, we got 100 munitions, and we got a crit, heat, ribbon, and blah 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 blah. It's still not the greatest. Now, if you want to deal with armored units, I think that's what the question kind of sounds like. Is if you want to deal with armored units, I would get any weapon that is slash based and run viral on it. That's what I would recommend doing. Make sure it's a powerful one. I mean, you can't just grab any old weapon and just, I'm gonna kill the enemy. But no, I mean, if it's really strong, like let's say a Tigris Prime, for example. It's not a Sancti Tigris, yes, but let's say a Tigris Prime, and then I switch this from corrosive to oh, that's why I got corrosive on it. Let's just say viral. Should be, nope, that's ready. Yeah, viral. Oh, viral radiation. Let's say the comb. I'm just gonna grab a comb. I use the comb on armored units, and I run corrosive. I should run viral, but it doesn't matter. I run corrosive because the dual stat is electricity. But for example's sake, I'm just gonna grab some armored units, and I ran this. I wouldn't call it a test, but I did this with a buddy of mine. Let me kill him real quick. I did this with a buddy of mine last night, and he was using the Corinth, and it was cool. You know what I mean? But I'm like, it's not no comb though. The thing about the comb is the comb has native punch through, which means it's gonna hit this enemy and then that enemy, so on and so forth, right? And then it's a slash weapon, which means it's gonna hit through the armor anyway. And because of the way the multi-shot is, it's gonna do a lot more than what it says on paper, right? So these are 150s. I'm gonna shoot this. Granted, don't get me wrong, I got a ribbon for it. The numbers are, it kills about twice as slow, I want to say, without the ribbon, something like that. But really, it's knowing your defenses and how to deal with them. So without getting into armor too much, what you could do is, regardless of what weapon you choose, if it's not a slash weapon, then you could run 100 munitions of viral, or you could run corrosive heat. Corrosive heat will drop their armor from 100% to 10%, because you got 80 coming from the 10 stack of corrosive, and you got another additional 50% of the remainder coming from the heat, right? With a total of 90%. Or, like I said, just run a slash based weapon with corrosive. And then let's see, or secondary. For secondary, you can either run a super strong secondary. My rule of thumb is, if it's not slash based, run corrosive. If it's slash based, run viral. The reason why is because with slash, you're going to be bypassing the armor. And if you can just buff that, then you're good there, right? Whereas if it doesn't have something that can bypass armor, at that point you want to run something that's going to reduce the armor. So I can run viral on this, but corrosive is just going to work. I mean, it's more theory building from that standpoint. Mind you, this has ruinous, whatever it's called, on it, so it's not going to be like super strong. And I'm shooting in the stomach. Because if I shot in the head, it'd be way stronger. Like, so I don't like testing on the head. I like headshots to be like, ooh, I found a lollipop. Something like that. So I usually test on the stomach. By the way, this is that build. Now, if we did Magnum Force or Lethal Torrent, it'd be completely different. But yeah. So anyway, so that's that. I can answer some Revenant questions in 10 minutes if you send me a party invite. Okay, I would do. I'm gonna start another stream for that actually. Well, I mean, something that deletes armor really fast, something that works with Cronin, for example. Oh, if you just want to mindlessly kill without even thinking about how to. I'm not even. And I'm. This is not a jab at you, bro. Do not take it this way, okay? I had to talk with somebody yesterday about this. But if what it sounds like, if you just want to mindlessly kill without even thinking about how to build the weapon, like I'm tired of building, I just want to kill, then you need to get a comb and just leave it at either a comb or a Brahma and just leave it at that. If you are over trying to build, like dude, I am over these numbers and this and that, I just want to kill something, then you need a comb or a Brahma. That's it. I don't care how strong somebody's Corinth is, they will never out DPS a comb. It will never out it'll one-shot that one enemy, but in a boss fight, that comb is going to kill. In a hallway, that comb is going to empty that hallway. A Corinth is not going to empty a hallway. That's for your primary. For your secondary, if you really don't want to think about anything, you need to get a new core or you need to get a catch moon. That's it. And if you really want to be crazy about it, you can get a twin Comac and call it a day. Static cores are good, but if you really just don't feel like thinking at all anymore, like I am so tired of thinking, I just want to play Warframe, you need a catch moon, a twin Comac, maybe a Piranha if you feel ballsy, or a new core, and just leave it at that. All these other ones are for synergies and, you know, flexing and, you know, I got 300 damage, 300,000 damage or whatever, or stat sticks, or you know what I mean. Everything's got some other technical use, for the most part. Does that answer? I hope I answered your question. You know what I mean? Because the Cronin, because like you said, the Cronin works independent of itself. The Cronin doesn't work with anything. The comb doesn't work with anything. None of those weapons I mentioned work with anything. Except for the new core. The new core is kind of the only one that really is like a synergized weapon. The thing is, with those weapons though, once you put them together, it's kind of on some god tier status. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna slash with the comb, and then I'm gonna slash with the Cronin, and then I'm gonna hit with the comb. Does that make sense? For example, at the moment I play Ash, Cronin, Catch Moon, Bram. Yeah, you're done. If you want more power out of it, then I would just look into the builds. For in-game survival, let's say. Yeah, that's it. That's all you need for in-game survival. For in-game survival, I'm going to tell you the trick to the trade of in-game survival. In-game survival is... Okay, so I have a stream where I did 3 hours, right? And I missed it by 1 minute and 45 seconds because I was messing with the chat. Which is cool. I mean, I don't really care. It was more to prove a point, though. I took a melee weapon that had healing return on it. It had a ribbon, but I had a whole mod slot that I could have put something else in. They were armored units. They were corrupted, right? And I was killing them. And this was mod. And I was in there for 3 hours, right? So, the point of that, though, is that you don't need a billion this, that, and the third. Just go invisible and hit with a slash weapon with some viral on it, and then you should be good. That's in-game survival. If you want to know like the cheap route. If you want to know the crazy route, then you get like Inaros with a billion health and arcane this and arcane that, and you get ribbons for this and ribbons and this, that, and you get all that stuff. But if you just want to be in a survival because you're farming, like I just need to get this done. I don't really care about showboating right now. I just want to, here's a job. I need to get the job done. Just take Ash or Loki and get a slash based weapon and use your Brahma as crowd control. And then that's pretty much it. And then just stay invisible. I kid you not, just stay invisible. Because no matter what enemy you're facing, it does not matter what the enemy is. If you're invisible, their attacks are disabled. They will not shoot. They will not do anything. You don't have to worry about bombard missiles. You don't have to worry about the little MOA things spitting the stuff on the ground. You don't have to worry about any of that, like at all. All you have to do is kill them, which is pretty sad because this is a ceramic dagger. Boop. I cannot believe the ceramic dagger is doing this. Dude, these armor changes were crazy. Alright, so I'm going to start a new stream so that Snowy can come on and explain Revenant. Are you comfortable with that, Snowy? Well, what about Haruto? I mean, it's a healing. I mean, I don't know. It's up to you. I mean, you run however you want to run it. Because I'm Loki, I forgot that I had Heal and Return on. You don't need Heal and Return if you're doing this the whole time. Because with Loki, I run Magus Elevate. And Magus Elevate is going to give me 300 health. So if I really needed to, I could just go boop boop. And then I have my health fully restored. So I really didn't even need Heal and Return. That was kind of it wasn't an accident, but it was like an accident. You know what I mean? But if you want to run a Haruto, run a Haruto. You know what I mean? I don't know much, but I'll try my best to answer some questions. If you are answering questions, unless you know from personal experience, then I would pull up a wiki and then just go through the wiki. We can do a Warframe wiki on Revenant. He might be a good one, but I do want to end this stream before it moves on for too long, because it's a Warframe wiki Wednesday. You know what I mean? I just want to show off the Ancient Disruptor, so that way, if you guys are wondering why you're getting one shot in infested missions, it is because of these guys. And the one takeaway I wanted you guys to take away is that it's not the magnetic proc that's draining your energy. It's just the fact that they are present, and it's just a mechanic of their attack. That's why you lose energy. And if you run quick thinking, that's cool, but they don't care about that. They don't care about your armor. They care about your armor and resistances, yes, but they hit so hard that it's almost not, it doesn't make a difference. You know what I mean? So if you're doing really, really long survivals, these are the guys you have to prepare for. Whoa. Yeah, sometimes they can smell where you're last at, by the way. So they'll sometimes randomly throw an attack unless you actually go invisible in time. So that is them. That's that little last piece of information is, you know, be careful when you are not invisible, because like I said, they'll go and attack wherever you last were, and then you're kind of, you know, you're putting yourself at risk. So, but that's pretty much the gist of that. If you liked the video, sorry for a second long for anybody showing up past the point, but if you liked the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Got 40-second duration invisibility build. What about Octavia? You can use any invisibility frame. You can use any invisibility frame. Dude, 40 duration on a Loki, I'm gonna be honest, I don't even know how you got that. That's cool. But I don't even know how you got that. Because I had 36 seconds. Oh, that's decoy. Yeah, I had 36 seconds, but it was like, nah, I'll take handspring. Oh, I think I know. You had, what was it? It's a few mods. So let me show you guys this before I leave. So, because this does kind of tie into it, because you do want some duration. Because let's say you just happen to get touched and all your energy disappears. You are going to want to stay invisible for as long as possible. But there is Constitution. That's one you can put on there. There is, of course, Prime Continuity. There is, I think, 2 other ones, though. There's like 2 or 3 other ones. It's not Swift Momentum. Endurance Drift, that's what it is. Nope, it's not Endurance. Is it Stealth Drift? There's a drift mod that I think adds duration, and of course we got Augur Message. I thought that got you to like 306 though. You guys are gonna see a terrible build, by the way, because I don't play Ashe. I just want to see how this dude got there. Well, Octavia. Yeah, Octavia's good. Yeah, any invisible frame. If your frame is invisible, then you're good. You don't have to do. There's no more. There's no more to it. Just stay invisible, and that's it. Because when you're invisible, it disables the enemy's attack. Like the enemy won't attack. It's that simple. There's no more. There's no rocket science to it. There's nothing to it. So I'm gonna give you the best example I can. I'm gonna pull him out. 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 I'm gonna pull the ambulance out. I'm gonna pull him 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 out. I'm gonna pull that person out. I'm gonna pull her out. I'm gonna pull the drone out. I'm just gonna pull out whatever. Right? It doesn't matter who they are, what faction. I mean, they're gonna fight. Hopefully they don't. I'm sure they will. Please don't. Please don't fight. They're gonna fight. Jeez, this is taking forever. And they're fighting. Okay, let's just do a bunch of these. Okay, so yeah. Whoa. Alright, cool. So they're dead. So it does not matter who they are or what they are. If they do not see you, you effectively disable their attacks. That's the whole point. If you can disable their attacks, you're good. The main reason I choose Loki is one particular feature of him. And that is that you, from the enemy's perspective, you are truly invisible. I'll put this one in perspective. Let's say I got the 5 million duration build, right? I don't have it, but if you had it, this mod wouldn't be there, right? So without that mod, what happens is they can hear any of your weapons if they're loud, particularly the Brahma, right? The Brahma and the cone. So I go invisible, they're shooting, they're like, oh, where is he? But if I shoot in the air, right, now they're facing that way. They're like, oh, I heard him. I shoot over here, they're like, oh, I heard him, right? And if I shoot for long enough, eventually they'll get it. And this is more for like Grenier, I've noticed, but if they know where I am, then what'll happen is they'll eventually start shooting at me, and that's what you don't want, right? So I run, you don't have to run Loki, you can literally run anybody. If you're running Ash or Octavia or anybody, I would say use either a silent weapon. There is a mod you can put on that quiets your weapons, but it's not really super reliable. But you can. I mean, you're gonna play the game the way that you're gonna play it, and you're gonna be dope the way that you play it. You can't be dope at the game the way I play it. You have to be dope at the way that you play it. So if you want to play Octavia, use Octavia. You know what I'm saying? If you want to use that mod that I think it's called Suppressor, use Suppressor. You know what I mean? If you don't want to use Suppressor, don't use Suppressor. You know what I mean? It's however you're going to play the game. Here's the thing about Octavia, though. So remember I was saying about disabling their attacks. You got to keep in mind with Octavia, unless the only thing you're using is her third and her fourth, by using, what is it? By using, I think it's her second. Yeah, by using that, well, you just created a target for the enemy to swing at. So let's say we are dealing with this ancient disruptor, but then there happens to be one of those MOA thingies that spits the stuff out. What is it, Swarm? I think it's a tar. Yeah, so we got some, oh wait, hold on. All right, so we got some tars, we got some swarms, whoops. All right, and then we got some disruptors or whatever, and then I guess a couple other guys, whatever, right? So we got these guys out there, all right? Now, this is something that I pointed out to a couple people as well when I run these survivals. I cannot wait till they buff her or change her. Whoa. So that tar will just simply kill you. It's basically just that simple, right? So when you're invisible, the whole idea is to not get hit, right? Well, the way you don't get hit is to keep the enemy from attacking, right? I mean, it sounds like it makes sense. But if you throw this out, they're going to attack that. And if they attack that now, you know, infested maps usually aren't as big as this. So you could potentially end up with some tar stuff on the ground. And if it just so happens to be there, and you just so happen to step in it, depending on how long you're in that mission, you could just end up dead. So you just want to be careful. That's all I'm saying. Just peek out. There it goes. Right. You can just do that again. I'm gonna throw it over here. Oh, there goes some more tar baby stuff. Or tar stuff. I can say that, I'm a nigga. He said tar baby. Yeah, I'm a nigga, man. I grew up with that. So you see how all that tar is on the ground. Now, we're not gonna have the room to just jump around like this. So if anything, you could be creating more of a problem than actually solving. For yourself. You know what I mean? But once again, it's all in how you play Octavia, because for all I know, you might just be back here with a Bramma or a Comb or a Catch Moon or something, or even a Nucor or whatever you're using, and you might just be doing this from like the room over, you know what I mean? Which is fine. However you're gonna play it is however you're gonna play it. I just wanted you guys to be aware of what a disruptor is gonna do. And when you're in an infested map where the disruptor shows up, you're gonna be after a while, you're gonna have to deal with that tar. And the only way to stop that tar is to not be present on the map. So now, if I just simply don't use anything, I can swing as much as I want to and do whatever I want to do, and I don't have to worry about stepping in tar and watching where I step and parkouring off of walls, and it's literally just go in, push a button, and then get what you need and leave. Like, oh man, I need Vitus Essence. Man, okay, there's a survival up. Okay, let me go do the survival, and let me just go and get what I need and leave. Now, if you want to set records and prove stuff, that's cool too. But if you just need to get the job done, then that's how you get the job done. You just go invisible and you're done. So, you got Protective Dash. I do, but I don't use it. I use it on my Inaros. So when I run Inaros because it's way more fun, right? And it's Vazarin. Protective Dash does this. It doesn't work on, well, first off, I don't use it on defense targets, because why am I using Inaros you know what I mean? Just defend the target. I usually use CC for defense. Anyway, Protective Dash, that thing seems really OP. It is really OP. Protective Dash works. It works, but you have to be... I'm trying to keep this on the subject of the Ancient Disruptors. You just really have to be careful with Ancient Disruptors, regardless if you have it or not. Unless you have... and I kind of don't even recommend quick thinking in this situation, now I think about it, because it staggers you. It only takes 2 hits after a while. It only takes 2 hits to kill Inaros. But let's just say you have Protective Dash. You can go in and get hit and all that. And if you do get hit, right, and they start doing some crazy damage to you, and it's like, wow, that was a really tough hit, then you, because it's Protective Dash, is going to do a percentage of your health back, and now I got my health back. Now, the reason why I'm doing that is, yeah, you can eat them, but I don't have energy. So how am I going to restore my health? Oh, I can just eat them and get my health back. Yeah, you could if you had energy. You don't have energy with these guys. So how are you going to resolve that issue? Right? Well, you go on your operator and you just use Protective Dash. Whew. Now you healed yourself. It may be a little rough getting out of it because they can stagger and CC you like that, but using that Protective Dash will heal you a lot. And it heals 60% of wherever you're at, right? What's nice about it too, just to give you a heads up, is it heals the same way Arcane Grace does. So as you can see, I'm draining my own health, but it was restoring my health as I was draining it, right? So Protective Dash is really good. Saw a guy on YouTube that he was just spamming with Saren. Yeah, I mean, that's the way he plays. You can do that. You know what I mean? It's just Protective Dash. It's just, you know, it's a tool there to be used however you see fit. Wow, that would be really cool on a Rhino for whatever the reason, or that would be really cool on Nidus, or it would be cool on whatever, you know. Oh, I can use that instead of Rolling Guard. oh, I see my time's about to run out. I can do this instead of using rolling guard or whatever. Or I can use this as a second rolling guard. Like, oh, rolling guard. Oh, it ran out. Okay, cool. Boom. Ba 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 ba. Boop. Do it again. Ba 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 ba. Oop. Do it again. Ba 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 ba. You see what I'm saying? So you can use it however you want. It's just a tool there to be used however you want to use it. So, in regards to disruptors, yes, it does work. They still can hit you with magnetic procs. Just keep that in mind. Anyways, FC, thanks for stopping by. Snowy, thanks for stopping by. Thank you guys for stopping by. This was much longer than I wanted to be, but I hope we did get something out of this. I think the big takeaways, let me just wrap up with the takeaways because it was kind of a convoluted video. On my part, sorry. The big takeaways, Mesmer Skin works against them. Rhino works against them. So you just gotta be careful about your Rhino stack, right? At least at level 150, they take about 2,000 armor per hit, right? So keep that in mind. They cannot hit through Zephyr's wind. They can melee through it, but their little get over here whip, the little scorpion whip, that doesn't work. So that's noted. They can hit Inaros really hard, and right around 80 to 100 minutes, like somewhere in that pocket, depending on your Inaros build, they can either 1 to 2 shot you. It usually takes a maximum of 2 hits to kill you. Right around 120 minutes, hour and a half. Right around there, 1-2 hits maximum. I don't care what your build is. 1-2 hits maximum. Your Inaros is gone. He's out of there. Don't even think about it. Invisibility disables everything on the map. So if you do want to do crazy long runs, just go invisible and maintain that, and you'll be fine. That I do it all. That's actually made a separate build specifically for that. So now I don't worry about the runs really anymore. That's just my personal recommendation. You can use whoever you want. If it works, cool. But the biggest, most important piece out of Ancient Disruptors is know that their energy drain when they tap you is not a magnetic proc that's doing it. They have a magnetic proc that does it, but it's not the magnetic proc that's doing it. All right, so just keep that in mind. And if you are doing survivals or you're seeing people doing long survivals, the question that I propose you guys ask them, man, I was in a survival for 15 hours, but were they infested though? That's what I want you guys to ask them. All right, you guys take it easy. Thank you. Hey, Bargav Copolo. I'm about to actually start another stream. But then I do have to do some music work today. I got some video editing I got to set up for a buddy of mine, and then but I'll do a stream with you guys first, and then I'll jump on that. But anyway, so that's that. Thank you for stopping by. I'm gonna just start another stream just to hang out, and then we'll just kind of, I'll just be doing things, answering questions if you guys have any questions. So. Without further ado, this is CS with DWP. Thanks for stopping by. If you like the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. And I will see you guys in the next piece of content. Holla, pimps, players, and hustlers. All right, y'all. Peace. Woo!